welcome back to the Driftless Homestead. My name's Bucky and this is my wife Emily. She's an expert on kombucha, which happens to be what we're talking about today. Today we're going to be making kombucha with a SCOBY starter kit that we purchased on Amazon because I accidentally dumped out our last kombucha and SCOBY when we moved from Atlanta to Kenosha. So we're starting right on over. In essence, we're going to be taking some brewed organic green tea, organic being very key, so there's no pesticides or anything added to it that could kill the bacteria, and some organic raw cane sugar, which is going to feed the yeast. We're going to be mixing them up in these jars with some cold water to offset the hot brewed water of the freshly brewed tea so that it's not too hot, again, not to kill the SCOBY. And then it's going to ferment for about 2 to 3 weeks. You're going to know it's ready when it gets a little bit sweet and a lot tart, depending on how long you let it ferment. And at that stage, you can add flavorings like mango, orange juice, or literally whatever you want to add to it as part of your daily drink. Now, as I said before, my wife Emily has been drinking kombucha for a long time, and she's somewhat of an expert on its health benefits. Now, Emily, what would you say are the top benefits of drinking kombucha daily?
The main benefit is to increase your gut health and the good, bacteria in your gut. You're going to find good bacteria and bad bacteria in your gut, and so the main goal is to increase that good bacteria. Another benefit is there is research out there that any probiotic can help increase mental health, but there is definitely better probiotics than others. Raw kombucha has more live cultures than some of the highly processed store ones that you might see.
So all those probiotics, the billions that are going to be in our kombucha here, are going to help kill off the bad bacteria in our stomach, replace it with good bacteria, which is ultimately going to hopefully lead to a better mood and a better life. Let's make our kombucha.
So we are making 2 quarts today with our kombucha, which is just a half gallon. I don't have a half-gallon container, so we're just doing 2 separate ones, and I will probably at some point switch them into the half-gallon just for storage. So every recipe on the internet, if you just Google kombucha recipe, you're going to find a bunch of different recipes.
So at this point, the audio and the video cut out, so I'm just going to do a quick voiceover on the steps that we're taking. So we're making a kombucha using a kombucha starter bought from Amazon, and then we followed the recipe that they provided, except for we switched out black tea for organic green tea, which is our preference. So essentially all we're doing is taking the SCOBY, the starter fluid that we bought off Amazon, and then we're going to put it into each of these jars. We're going to cut it in half, and we're going to put each in, and then we're going to dump the tea, which had been brewed and steeped for roughly 10 minutes, on top of it. And then we added half a cup of sugar total, so a quarter in each quart, to the jars, mixed it up, and that is basically all you have to do for the first fermentation for the kombucha. Now, after a couple of weeks is when you can add different flavors or different additions to the kombucha, and when you can consider bottling it, especially if you like it carbonated. And then you're going to want to let it sit for another week or 2. At this point, if your growing conditions are ideal, your SCOBY is going to end up producing another SCOBY, which you can put in a SCOBY hotel, which is basically just a jar that you put a little bit of sugar, a little bit of starter, and then tea in to keep it moist and to keep it growing and to keep it alive. And then after 2 to 3 weeks is up total, you'll have kombucha that is drinkable, it's palatable, and it's very healthy for you, full of billions of different probiotics. And kombucha theoretically will last for a very long time, although the longer it goes, the more vinegary or alcohol-y it will smell and taste as the SCOBY continues to ferment the liquid. And then when you're ready to make a new batch, you just want to save maybe a quarter to half a cup of the previous batch of kombucha so that you can start your next batch of kombucha with that liquid. Alright, so that is how you can make kombucha from a starter culture and a SCOBY. And one thing to mention is
if you're making these in a jar or otherwise in a sealed container, you're not going to want to put the lid on top. You're going to want to cover it with cheesecloth, a regular type of cloth, a napkin, literally anything that allows some fresh air exchange for the bacteria to continue to be aerated. Wouldn't hurt every now and then to give it a little swirl to incorporate more oxygen into the mixture to make sure that your SCOBY is still being kept alive, because it is an aerobic bacteria, not an anaerobic bacteria. So in about 2 weeks, this kombucha is going to be ready to go, and we're going to be seeing you then when we test it. Until then, we'll see you next time.